Hey guys, this is Smithy. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is a very special one. We are gonna use It's Well Cosmetics' newest palette, Under the Full Moon. This is definitely a cool tone color story. If you wanna see me dive into some blue looks, spoiler alert, and use their brushes also because I love their brushes. That's not a news to anybody. I'm also doing like a get ready with me using my staple drugstore products, which I absolutely love and adore. So if you guys want to see how I achieve this look, please keep on watching. Let's begin getting ready. I'm going to do my eyes first. I know it's very unlike me. I'm going to take this NYX Plump Right Back primer. I'm going to try and do majority of the things like drugstore. But obviously the focus is going to be the It's Well palette. It's been quite some time that I've not done like a drugstore focus video. I know It's Well is indie, but I feel like it's pretty affordable in indie brands. Like the palette is $36 and I'm pretty sure you can find like a lot of people's discount codes on that palette too. Let's start off with the eyes and see where we land. I just want to let the primer sit in, and if we do have any fallout because we are playing with a blue palette, we need to take care of that. I'm gonna also do my color correction before we start, and this is Ole Henriksen's Banana Bright Eye Cream. Yeah, pretty much there. This one is in the shade Apricot. I'm just gonna focus it right there. Okay, so the palette that we are focusing on is Under the Full Moon. It comes with the same sleeve that it comes in, and all the shades are there on the back of the screen, right there. It has a shelf life of 12 months, and it says, so this is the palette, exactly the same art cover. It's definitely like a blue, yellow, whitish, like cool tone color story, I would say. But it has a pop of few golds too. So this says, indulge in the ethereal beauty of our cool toned palette under the full moon. Savor the sensation of a gentle breeze as you sip your favorite tea, gazing at the luminous full moon. That's the description of the palette. And it is truly a cool toned palette, except those golds that you see, like those pop of two golds. Now, whenever I've seen this, like in a video or in the photographs, both these golds seem very similar. We do have a lot of like gray tones, greens, gray tone blues. I want to swatch this palette so that we can see all of this in action, and then we go with what kind of an eye look we are going through. Because whenever I've seen someone do a video, they've always started with this shade as the crease shade. I personally would say that even if I am getting this palette, even if I'm not seeing any other video, this is the shade that goes, that jumps out to me first for a crease shade, just because this feels like a gray and a very light gray for my crease. And these two seem a lot darker. Let's watch and see the color story because I am very curious about the golds too. Okay, so let's start off with Lunar Halo, which is a very light tone bluey gray shade. Then we have Full Moon, which seems so spectacular and sparkly in the pan. It's very, very stunning shade. It's like a gray silver with blue teal sparkles running throughout it. Then we have a New Moon, which is a deeper gray, like a true gray shade. And then we have August 1st, which is like a purpley lavendery shimmer shade. It's a traditional shimmer shade. So those are the four shades. I hope you can see the difference. Let's swatch it. Here we go. Oh, that is a stunning shade. The Full Moon shade. While swatching the matte, it seems like it's going to be a buildable formula. I am going to dip twice into the mattes. I personally do have all the palettes except the Dawn of Fall palette from It's Well Cosmetics. I am well aware of It's Well's formula. I started using their palettes. I started with their Break the Rules palette. So those are the first four shades. I started with the Break the Rules palette, then Flare Collection Remix palette, Then they sent out a Cool Summer palette, their neon palette. What was that called? You understand, like that all matte neon palette. And then they also sent me out the fairy palette, the Flare Collection Remix palette, and that Pixie palette. That's my favorite out of the lot. We don't know yet about this palette. So let's watch the second row. We have Late Summer, which is like a yellowy gold shade, like a true bright yellow gold shade. Then we have Herbal Infusion, which is like a murky green shade, like a army green, I would say. Then we have Night Flux, which seems like a bronzy shade, but like a warmer bronzy shade, like an antique bronze. And then we have the shade Sunless, which is more like a bluey gray shade, a mid-tone bluey gray matte. Let's watch that. Oh, that's watched amazingly, that green and that bronze and blue. That is also stunning. So let me show it to you. So those are the next 4 shades. I will definitely say those golds are different. I don't know how much on the eyes, but this is definitely more antique bronze shade, and this is like stark in your face, like a yellow gold shade. But those 2 mattes, amazing, absolutely amazing. Now when I'm seeing this, the tone of this matte and this matte, like they're both mid-tony shades. So I feel like this Sunless shade is the only crease shade so far that I can see. Let's move on to the last row. We have Oebe, which is that cobalt blue shade, stunning blue. Then we have Grey Dust, which is like a gray blue shade. Oh, it has like a hint of purple in it too. It's like a purpley gray, I would say. Then we have Moonglade, which is like a shimmery, bluey, purpley, tealy shade. It's like blue purple shimmer shade, duochrome. And then we have Lycanthropy, which is more of like that navy blue shade. Liking the last row. That's the cobalt blue. Then we have that gray purple shade and that shimmery duochrome and that navy blue shade. Yep. And that's the last row swatched for you guys. And that's the entire palette. It's a very, very cool tone palette with a very unique color story, I would say. I don't think I've seen like these many, like a deeper grungy tone in a palette with those golds. Interesting for sure. By the way, this palette was sent to me in PR. No obligation to post or anything. Definitely the standout shade is that full moon shade. I see like a silvery shade, you see blue. Like it's a very stunning duochrome toppery shade. Very, very sparkly. I really love that purple gray shade, that green shade, and that lavendery purple shade. Okay. So what are we doing? I somehow want to start with not the Sunless shade, okay? Just to get out of what I've seen on the internet and give you a unique tone to it. I will be using It's Belle brushes. These brushes, I would recommend 100%. Stunning quality brushes with an amazing payoff. Like I really love the quality of the bristles of the palette. It mimics a natural hair brush, but without being one. I think it's like some imitation of a goat hair brush. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna set my eyes with powder. I'm just gonna take my Luna Beauty powder. I'm loving this powder. Let me just set my eye lid. With any translucent powder would do, just because this is more of like that. Oh my god, the scent, I love it. It's like a cupcakey scent, I love it. So once we have that all set and ready for the eyeshadow, let's begin. Let's go from dark to light and see where we land. Yeah, let's start from dark to light. I'm going to start with that Lycanthropy, this shade, and then we'll go into this shade. It's a very beautiful navy bluey shade. Look how stunning the payoff is. And this I'm taking on a E4 brush from its bell. It's like a stubby, small brush. Definitely not like a blending brush, like a packing stubby brush. Let me do the same thing on the other eye. Good that we are doing our eyes first, because I am definitely seeing some fallout, especially when I'm like, I've always seen like whenever I'm playing with blue, it's always better to just do my eyes first, because I generally do a lot of blending and then it just falls all across my face, which it's not a good thing to do. Okay, now I'm just gonna take this brush E6 and just blend the edges with no additional product. We'll go with the other shade just in a second. I just want a softer edge. Now let's go into this gray dust shade, which is more of that purpley gray shade. And I'm gonna start blending the edges and going into the crease halfway there. Yeah, I would say you definitely can make this as a crease shade, but you have to go with like a very light hand if you are my skin tone. Like if you are more of a lighter skin tone, I would say that this can easily be like a deepening shade for you. That's a beautiful blend. I am going with like one look today. I definitely can do more looks later on, but I feel like especially when I'm playing with blues and like these deeper grungy looks, it's better to see one look rather than seeing two different looks. I feel like the effect of the eyeshadow just dulls down a little when you're seeing two different eye looks at the same time. I love this shade, okay? This purpley gray shade, definitely unique to my collection. And I also love the way how this is blending. Now, what I'm gonna do is take the same brush that we blended the edges with, but taking this shade Lunar Halo, which is that light gray shade, I would say. And I'm gonna take that in the inner part of the crease and blending it with that purpley gray shade. This gray shade would majorly be like a blending shade for me, or like a transitioning shade for me. I'm gonna take that all across the edges and just blend everything together. Again, I'll go back and forth with this eye look. One, because it's a blue, and I don't wanna lose the rest of the shades. Just right there. I like the way how this is looking so far. We'll go with the lower lash line in just a minute. I think we should stick with the blues. I'm gonna start off with this full moon shade all across the eyelid, and then I'll blend it with this shade, okay? So let's do that. It picks up very nicely, but I also feel like there can be fallout on this. There you go. Let's start off with that full moon shade. Oh my God, look at how sparkly that is. Yep, I would definitely say if you use a brush, it'll be more sparkly. And if you use like your fingers, it'll be more smoother. Oh my God, that's stunning. I'm gonna take it like more diagonally, covering the majority of the eyelid. That's a beautiful shade, beautiful shade. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye. It's so funny that it looks like blue on the eye. It looks straight up silver in front of me. Yeah, that's just beautiful. I'm just gonna take my fingers with that Moon Glade shade, because I don't want a lot of it, just a little bit, just to mesh that navy blue with that silvery blue shade. And this would just be a right bridging gap between those two shades. Okay, let me just clean up my eyes, put some liner and mascara, and I'll get right back. Okay, so the eyes are all done. Let's move on to the face. I have two skin tinty kind of a product, one from Essence and one from Wet n Wild. Let me see which one matches my skin right now. Yeah, I think this would do. This is the Essence Pretty Natural. I am gonna, oh my God, my hands are blue. I'm just gonna dot it everywhere. just so that it's not too much, although it looks too much already. Okay, and let's take a buffing brush and let's melt that. It's a tad bit light, won't lie, but we'll bronze it up. But I also feel like whenever I'm doing like a blue look, I don't mind a brighter face and then bronzing it up. I feel like the blueness from the eyeshadow comes out really, really well. That doesn't mean then go with white. Just like 1 or 2 shades lighter. That's like my wintry shade. By the way, for the liner and mascara, I also took like Wet n Wild liner and e.l.f. mascara. For the concealer, Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer in the shade 145. Like my tried and true product. Never fails me. Just gonna brighten up the center of the face. Taking the same foundation brush everywhere except under eyes. I'm gonna take that It's Bell brush for my concealer. Such a stunning brush. Once I have the concealer underneath the eyes, do I look like Casper? Just wait, okay. I'm gonna take my e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder. Just set my under eyes so that it doesn't crease. Right there. And I'm just going to take some on the back of the cap and then take my sponge and then just set my face, especially on the center. I want the center of my face a little brightened up just because it is a colorful eye look. And then I'm going to focus on the cream bronzer. For that, I'm going to take my oldie but a goodie ColourPop's Soul Face and Body cream bronzer in the shade Dark. I generally use this whenever I am going with like more of a glamour look. So I'm going to take that and focus there to chisel out my cheekbones and then just give some color to my face. Let's turn back from Casper to a human. A good blue eye look, definitely. It's so powerful. I'm not comfortable wearing a blue eye look every day. Let me tell you that. But occasionally I feel it. Now, whenever I go with like this cool tone of an eye look, I definitely want like more of a light pink kind of a blush. For that, I'm going to go back into my Flower Bomb, Blush Bomb actually. And I'm going to just apply that right on the cheek. And this one is in the shade Cheeky. Taking a little bit and applying it right there. And if you're thinking, oh, you applied powder and then you're applying, it doesn't mess up with my makeup at all. I'm very, very well aware of the Flower Beauty blush bombs. Like one of my favorite liquid blushes or cream blushes generally from the drugstore, I would say. Right there. Now that just blended out beautifully. Now let's move into the highlighter. I'm going to take my Revlon Skin Lights highlighter. And this one is in the shade Daybreak Glimmer. An oldie but a goodie. Never fails me. And for this kind of eye look, like a cool tone eye look, this is definitely the one to go for. This shade is so neutrally that if you pair it up with like cool tones, it'll look cool. And even if you pair it with the warm tones, it'll take the shade of your skin. It's really, really pretty. I'm going to take the same highlighter in my inner corners, just so that we have that brightening effect. Right there. Okay, let's move on to the lips. For the lips, let's take this NYX lip liner. Or should we take this from Morphe? I'm taking this one from Morphe. This is the Sweet Tea lip liner. It's more neutrally cool tony lip. And I'm just going to take a little bit of NYX Rebel kind lip liner. This is really, really deep. And just on the edges. Yeah, I like that so much, so much. Just to tie in the blush and the lips together, I'm going to take this Milani lipstick in the shade Tease. This has a hint of pink in it. I'm just going to focus that on the center of my lips. Just like that. I love the way how this turned out. Let's lock this makeup with the e.l.f. setting spray. This is the Stay All Night Microfine Setting Spray. And there you go. That's my final look. I really, really love the way how this look turned out. Okay, I am not even a blue person, but this looks so glam to me. It's really, really glam. I really love the formula of It's Belle Cosmetics. It's not a news to anyone. I really, really love this palette too. I played with 5 shades out of the 12 pan eyeshadow palette. I didn't want to like just dip into all of these shades. Oh, we didn't even do our lower lash line. Let's do that. Let's do Grey Dust. And we're going to dip into New Moon on the outer corners. This one. Now the look is all complete, okay? So we used, how many now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shades out of the 12 pan eyeshadow palette. So half of the palette, and nothing gave me like any problems or anything. The quality was absolutely beautiful. Definitely the standout shade of the palette is the Full Moon shade, which is the most sparkly one. This one out of the lot. I cannot wait to play with this purpley shade too. I feel like this gray purple shade with that would be amazing and like an easy look. I also think that when I pair up with this greeny shade, I feel like those golds will come in super handy. Definitely a lot can be done with this palette. You can tilt it to more like a warm tone color story also, but it is predominantly a cooler tone palette, which I really, really love. I really hope that this was helpful for you guys, and it is a little bit different from what you're seeing on the internet, because I do see a lot of like greeny, bluey looks. I definitely stuck to the cooler tone side of the blues. I really love the way how this turned out. I cannot recommend this enough, and I used all of my staple drugstore products too along with it. The brush set, I would highly recommend. Highly recommend this brush set as well as the palette. I really love that. I definitely feel like this could be my, obviously I've just done one look. I'll see how much looks I create and how much usage I get out of this palette. But I feel like the Pixie palette is definitely my favorite out of the bunch that they have done. Let me show you the palette. This one, the Pixie Grove palette, I feel like they can be so beautifully combined with each other. Let me just clean my palette because I use it a lot and it was all dusty and crusty. And let me show you both of these together, because I feel like both of these palettes can be combined and can create so many beautiful looks. Look at that. That's so pretty together. Yeah, these would definitely, I would highly recommend these two palettes, because I feel like It's Belle really does great mattes and their shimmers are like outstanding, absolutely outstanding. I would highly recommend them. It's Belle is definitely not new to me. Several palettes. If you want like a ranking my It's Belle palettes video, do let me know. I'll rank it for you guys so that you can get like an idea of like which are my top palettes from them. But that's all for today, guys. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did like this video, you know what to do. Do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post next. I generally upload 3 videos every single week, every Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.